Lamman, Rucker, join us.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm not going to bathe.
Let's hope not. Let's hope you bathe.
I know, that's the ugly thing, but it was cute. So, I think this is really important that how we sit down and we see people on television and we have this expectation, but they have a whole different personality. Lamman, what made you decide to go into acting?
You know what? That's such a popular question, but I really don't have a real answer for it. In the sense that I don't really recall making there being like a specific moment where I decided that this is what I'm going to do. I think that sounds a little bit more dramatic and maybe even more media worthy when people answer questions that are like that. And I don't know that most things always happen in most people's lives like that. There has to be this defining moment, per se. And I actually find that reassuring. So for me, a lot of things in my life have happened very gradually, very organically, just kind of through discovery, through exploration, through, people that love me, challenging me, or exposing me to different things and new information. And then the way that information finds its way into shaping your life, it's a more gradual thing. So, at some point, you make choices, right? So you could say that particular time you made that choice was a decision or was one of those moments. But my point is it's a series of moments. It's not just, lightning struck me this day and the world, I never saw the world the same again, But, my parents are both artists, so I was literally born into this space or into this kind of awareness, right, if you will. I've always been surrounded by culture and arts. I love museums, I've always have. I've always been somebody that I was a kid who liked maps. And some of the most random stuff I can think of but that's my point. It's so random and I was so all over the place that one of the through lines and all those things, and one of the things that everybody in this room and I believe everybody in the world has is a creative spirit. So I don't really think it's something that we arrive at. We arrive at it the day we're born, really. It's an intelligence, it's a gift, it's an understanding, a blessing in a sense that we all have. Most of us just don't choose or have the courage or don't have the support to nurture it. And or if we do, we think it's all about, wealth and fame and getting attention, but creativity applies to everything. People don't think that creativity applies to science and technology. That doesn't make any sense. What is innovation? What is invention? What is, science wouldn't be anything without creativity. It can't stand alone. Spirituality wouldn't be anything without creativity. If anything, they're one and the same in a sense, right? So my whole point in all that is like this choosing to be here or having the opportunity to be here with you is really kind of a summation of a lot of different things and different choices. I grew up in DC, primarily. I went to the Ellington School of the Arts. So again, the decision, right, to go there as opposed to go to a different high school is one of those decisions that leads me to this place. But just because I went to performing arts school doesn't mean I was going to do this for a living. A lot of my classmates are not, working professionals in the arts. But guess what? That same creativity and creative spirit that they had as a child when we were growing up and going through our training together, it's manifesting itself somehow in whatever the other things are that they're doing professionally or personally in their life. Some people just do things as hobbies. Or like I said, it impacts their other industries that they work in some way.
But I think that that this is really important because we're right. There are a lot of people who never make it into whatever they choose. But there has to be something else inside of you in order for you to take that next leap. What do you think that was to give you the courage to go into an area that generally wasn't always as welcoming to people of color?
Well, I actually think you said one of the major words. It's just that is courage. Because trust me, it takes some courage. I mean, the same principles we hear about all the time: courage, self-determination, discipline. Again, love, support, encouragement. Opportunity, right? And at the same time, even if an opportunity isn't created or facilitated for you, again, having the courage to kick the door in if ain't nobody going to help you open it. And if you don't know where the door is, again, you got to have the courage to walk around. Like, I don't know what's around that corner, but I have to have the courage to get up, walk over there, see what's over there, and depending on if I'm afraid, right, I can still be scared, but courage is action in spite of, right, in spite of fear or in the face of fear. So all these things are about these same principles that we hear that apply to other parts, all parts of our lives, really. So I don't know that it necessarily takes a special kind of person. I think, and that's part of why I'm kind of trying to rub that line out, because I think that's easy for people to say, he's got to be something special to do that. And I think what that sometimes does is makes people think that, that's not me, I'm not one of them. As opposed to part of what I'm saying is, yes, you are. We all have this capacity. We all have this ability in some form, or shape. We all have this potential. It's just the things that separate us are who does anything with it, and where the opportunities present themselves, and do you have access to the training, right? Do you have access to somewhere to nourish the interest? Do you have somebody? You know what I mean? It's like each kind of little step is important. It's why teachers are important. It's why support in education is important. It's why funding is important, right? Everybody throughout all these different walks of life and all these different positions are important. I understand we've got, right, our police commissioner, is that correct? Here. And, so again, right, public safety is important, right? A healthy relationship with, with our law enforcement and other institutions that are within our community are all important. So I wouldn't be here if I couldn't be here. You know what I mean, right? If I physically couldn't be here because I didn't obey the law, or because I found myself in a position of danger, or put myself in a position of danger. So all these things that we choose to do, and all the people that help us make them possible, all just put us in position to be, right? To be ... It's all about just putting yourself in position. So you can't even be in the position to take advantage of an opportunity if you're not even in the game. You got to be in the game to win the game.
But sometimes people want to say that, it's really the onus is on us or the family. And there's so many things that are taking us away from that basic family unit from years ago, and how families related to one another, and how children are relating, and that whole unit. How do children navigate that if there is a lack of that support at home? How do we as a community continue to build and grow and develop our community when we're being taken into so many different directions?
Well, again, this is our mutual responsibility to each other. We've got to connect the dots, right? So whether it's, regardless of what the circumstances or disadvantages may be, and we know they're real, the institutionalized ones, the socialized ones, the personal ones. I mean, trust me, I know every crazy story any of y'all can think of. I'm sure I got one just as crazy or better. Not necessarily maybe from my own life, but even others that I know. I mean, everybody has gone through or will go through, something. So again, it's just like to do the best you can in spite of that. So if you don't have the information, if you want it, go get it. ask, find somebody, get the, people afraid to go to the library. People, afraid to, I had to talk to a young man earlier that was like, stop acting like you ain't no man, you 16. Stop acting like you know everything. Open your mouth, ask a question. And if somebody corrects you, don't let your little ego get in the way. You ain't gangster, you just got here. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, but just the same, it's a mutual responsibility. Of course, he's gonna have that, perception, because ego's part of being a human being. And then he's male, and then if he's afraid to look stupid, these are all human dynamics. So I've got a responsibility to him to teach him. Otherwise, if I just blame him for not knowing better, that's my fault. Just as much as it's his by not trying harder to get the information on his own. So it's a really delicate balance between holding ourselves accountable and at the same time understanding what things we might be up against, but not allowing that to be the reason why we still can't get it done. And if and however any of us are falling short, can't quite get around the corner, don't have access to the information, whoever's already around the corner, walk back a little further this way and say, here it is, it's over here. Or, okay, hold on, my arm ain't that long, but I'll be right back. Let me go get somebody else. And if they hold on to me and I hold on to them, oh, we still 2 bodies short? Hold on, you go find something, right? And before you know it, we get closer and closer to, getting these links together. So everybody's got to have a responsibility to everybody. Just because you don't know somebody, they belong to you. Otherwise, all you're going to be doing is complaining about a problem that we all actually have the solutions to. I believe as brilliant as we are and all the incredible resources we have, the things we all need, I believe they exist somewhere in the network. We just don't always make the connections. There's somebody right here in this room. I bet you we could probably go have a little survey if everybody's filled out. Write down one need that you have, right? And then just put them all up on the wall. I bet you everybody could walk around and be like, oh, I could do that, right? Oh, this one, I didn't write that, but whoever did, oh, I can do that, or I know somebody that can do it. And I bet you every piece of paper would come off that wall and everybody in here would have a different piece of paper in their hand than the one they started with.
That also means that you have to be willing to walk across that street
yes,
or to open up that door, that you have
it's
to let
willingness
down
for everybody.
those guards.
It's willingness for the people who have it to give it away, to share it. Don't necessarily always just try to sell it. But even if you got to sell it, yeah. And then somebody else need to be willing to buy it. This is cooperative economics we're talking about too. That's why we're here. Right? It's Family Reunion Expo. Spend your money.
Right.
Spend your money. If you have a gift, if you have information, yes. If it's marketable, if it's sellable, now this is entrepreneurship we're talking about. Make it accessible, make it affordable, but at the same time, don't undermine your value either, right? But hopefully that skill or that product or that service, you're giving it some credibility with what? Education, training, experience, some kind of record of, of past and proven, right, success. So my point is, in all the things that we need, listen, we all know, like I said, the challenges and the setbacks, and it's frustrating. It don't change, but I ain't never have had a silver spoon in my mouth. I've used one, but, so my point is, like, as privileged as any of us are or are not, there's a way to bridge that divide, and it may take time, but if everybody is in it so that we all win it, we're going to be in a much better place. So we've just got to be very careful not to covet everything that we get, the things that we finally acquire. Yeah, and what I've also learned, again, through service, and I think you mentioned Be Me Community and that partnership and the work that happens here, what that's all about is starting, at least as a collective of Black men around the country. Again, that we know that the true narrative is not that we destroy ourselves or our families or our women or one another. That's not the real narrative of who and what Black men and Black communities are. At the same time, we know we can do better. So what we've chosen to do about it is to organize align, collaborate, cooperate, and to form this network where we can, again, provide for each other, support each other, uplift each other, support each other's families, communities, in particular our young people, our elders, whatever. And there's a whole lot of really incredible dynamic things happen that have always happened in the Black community, you know, and we're just taking some action and sharing the responsibility and doing something about it.
And today, Be More was in the Harbor Bank.
Yeah,
Would
with
you
my
talk
Be Me
more about
Baltimore
that?
brothers. Yeah, so we took some boys to Harbor Bank. So we had a what do we call it, Damon? Bank. Bring your boys, right? Bring your boys to the bank. So we did that. So we had, you know, Black men bring a mentee, son, nephew, whoever, open up an account. We matched their deposits. And so we taught, so it's just some really simple things. So within that, you're doing multiple things. You're banking Black, you're spending Black, you're putting your Black dollars into a Black institution, right? That serves and comes from and is founded by and is invested in the Black community, right? You're teaching these young people fiscal responsibility, teaching them how the banking system works, teaching them how money takes different forms, how money works for you, how money builds for you and can grow for you over time, different ways to structure money. Again, you got to learn the rules of the game. I don't show up to a basketball game with football cleats on. Dummy, you're going to trip and fall, and where you going? You're not, now you showed up, right? You're excited, but you're ill-equipped. It's the wrong tool. It's the wrong equipment, you know? I mean, seriously, there's boys who don't know how to tie a tie. You know?
Basic.
Yeah, they never used the ink pen.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, trust me when I tell you, they're not stupid. They've just never they've never done it yet. So until that time comes, and the sooner that opportunity presents itself, and when that teachable moment arrives, and all these teachers that we have in here, right? Because everybody's a teacher and a healer, in my opinion. Then somebody says, hey, this is how you do that. And let's show some respect for these children. Yeah, they need to be checked and kept in line and disciplined, and we got to ask them to do things they don't want to do. But we got to love these kids through this stuff. Show them the right way. Talk to them with some dignity so they'll listen.
Respect.
Yeah, show them some respect. Now, they got to earn the respect, especially for it to be sustainable. They have a responsibility as well, right? But we're like talking to them like they're idiots. Now, they're brilliant, but they're not always that bright. You know? And that's not necessarily their fault. They just got here. None of us knew everything when we first got here. So again, it's just about sharing. So that experience today was guiding them through the process, facilitating, and not doing it all for them. Otherwise, we're just enabling these children. Then they don't know how to do it for themselves. You know? I see parents all the time, even when they're with their children, even at a forum like this, and they bring the child up and like, this is my son and my daughter so-and-so, and her name is such and such, and he does this. I'm like, does he talk? Right? So now I'm all for, this is my son so-and-so, Mr. Rucker. And you pass the rock. Like, there's the assist, young man. Time for you to step in and do your part. So it's this really thin line between facilitating but not debilitating our young people by doing it all for them or for not asking them to do it at all. And you'd be surprised. You got to fill out the deposit, the deposit form. Everybody don't know how to do that until you learn how to do it. We putting the decimal all in the wrong place. Who knows what, right? Like, oh, I got to do another one. Even when you know how to do it, you screw it up, don't you? Right? So much. Even again, go back to the tie. Every man in here knows, and those women who know how to tie one know. Tying a tie is constant trial and error. Because you put it on, you're like, that's the knot up. Let me do that again. Or you put it on, you're like, nah, this one don't really look right. You know what? But I like this tie. It goes well with this jacket. I'm going to change the shirt. You might do, seriously.
You mean go through the
Yes. Now, maybe not that often because we got a flow. Like, it ain't always that deep. Again, a suit and a tie is a tool. This is part of what I'm talking about. It's also just a tool. There's value of it that has more than just how do I look, right? It's a convention, right, of being in business. So part of the reason why you do it is not always because you love it, but because that's what's required of you, that's what's expected of you, and it's out of respect for the industry that you're in, right? So it's all of these things. So, of course, as black folks do, even when we have to do something that we're required to do, we find a way to give it our own love. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's just what we do. So, but we find a way because we're all creative. In some way, that creativity finds its way into, and all creativity is as well, it's your own, it's part of your identity. So you can follow the rules, right? Do what you're told, be respectful, honor whatever code and, you know, traditions, and at the same time, still like, I'm here. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a, you know, respectfully stretch the envelope a little bit and find a way that it belongs to me. So we wanted these young people, and we want all of our young people and older people to understand that we've got to take ownership of these things, take ownership of our communities, you know, and that goes, that's littering on the street to investing in a black bank. It doesn't matter. You know, it's speaking to each other. Just say what's up. And women, sometimes we just want to say what's up. You know, we see you. You don't want to be seen? I doubt that. We see you. Let us see you. You know, and we got to learn how to see you and be more respectful about how we let you know we see you. But it's still, sometimes it's just like, yeah, how you doing? All right, okay. Proud to be a black man. Keep it moving. Let me get one more quick look. Okay. Whatever, you know, and it just doesn't always have to be about aesthetics. Even man to man, brother to brother. Say what's up. Acknowledge each other. You can't act like we love each other. That's stupid. Say what's up. Ain't nothing wrong with showing each other some love. So all these things are all interconnected. This acknowledgement of one another is just as much about acknowledgement of ourselves. This acknowledgement of one another is just about acknowledging the other institutions in our communities that are important. We acknowledge the church, but we don't acknowledge the bank. We don't acknowledge the black entrepreneur. We don't acknowledge the black child. We don't